Candida, and what would be your sort of Candida protocol, top 4 or 5 things to help deal with that?
I'm so glad that you're mentioning that because we were talking about the bacteria and I didn't mention Candida or yeast. We have, it's normal to have bacteria in our digestion. We also are going to have a little bit of yeast or Candida in our digestion. The issue is when they start overgrowing.
Okay.
And yeast love sugar. So here we were talking about sugar. And for a lot of people, it's when they've been consuming more sugar and carbohydrate-rich foods, including can be fruits, right? Fruits are carbohydrate. It can cause those yeast to overgrow. And so some people experience that as, say, bloating. It can cause brain fog. Of course, it can cause yeast infections in other areas of the body as well. And so the way to resolve it is very similar to what we've been talking about. We're going to want to change the diet so we're not overfeeding those yeast. And we're going to change the diet so that we can start healing leaky gut. You see, when leaky gut happens, we're more susceptible to yeast and we're more susceptible to overgrowing bacteria because the intestinal cells help make sure it's a healthy environment for the bacteria that prevent yeast. So always in a yeast protocol, I would include the leaky gut healing. And then in terms of killing the yeast, I tend to use herbal approaches because I find them to be very effective. A lot of herbs are both antibacterial and antifungal. So we might use garlic, oregano, grapefruit seed extract, and a few others. I usually end up using them in a combination formula. The thing with yeast, though, to remember, and the same is true with overgrowing bacteria, when we kill them, even with herbs, they can let out toxins that can make you feel worse. It's called a die-off response.
Mm-hmm.
And so the key is you want to start low and slow. So start with a low dose. Say you want to try oregano. Start with a low dose, very slowly. My rule is if ever you feel worse and you start having die-off responses, you got to back off right away. Back off of your treatment. Let your body heal and recover from the die-off. Then you can move forward very slowly. And by taking this comprehensive approach with the diet changes, the leaky gut healing, the herbal approaches to getting rid of the yeast, and I also use certain bacteria called bacillus to help manage the situation, manage the bacteria. By having this comprehensive approach, that's when we get the best results with getting rid of Candida, because sometimes people struggle with it for years, and I think of it as we just have to outsmart it, right? We can outsmart the situation and get past it. And my patients move way beyond Candida and it never comes back. So I want you to know it's possible because sometimes it feels impossible, but
Right.
it's possible to heal leaky gut. It's possible to manage Candida. All of this is possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny too because we think about killing Candida and killing these things, but in actuality, what's interesting is that part of Candida's job is to eat up dead cells, and so whenever we eat food that kills a lot of cells in our body, it's essentially we're eating food that's actually killing our cells, and then the Candida has to grow in order to eat up those dead cells, and so that should be a big indicator there that we're actually killing or eating food that's killing us. So there's the idea of starving the Candida out, right, by a proper diet, and then the idea of going after them with some of the things that you were talking about. That should be like the double-headed approach to that.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to what we've been talking about throughout, which is it's not a black and white. We're not looking to get the Candida necessarily to zero. We're not looking to get your diet to zero, carbohydrates. You shouldn't have to starve yourself in order to starve the Candida. It's about finding this middle area. How do we optimize your diet, optimize your environment inside your body? And by doing that, the Candida are no longer happy. I say we're going to make it so it's not such a happy home for Candida. Now, right now, the Candida are too happy there. We're going to shift the environment so yes, there's going to be a little bit of Candida, but we're not trying to, get to black and white. We're trying to find this optimal environment for your health.